Hello, everyone. So, we are here again for yet another YouTube Live. And today we are going to talk about something. Okay, before I tell you, let me ask a question to you. So, when you stand in front of mirror, what do you see? Do you see your appearance? Do you see your glasses? Do you see your haircut, your appearance, your what you're wearing? Or is it you that you see? Do you see yourself? I'm sure you see yourself in the mirror. Okay. So when you see yourself, what do you see? Do you see your position? Do you see what your achievements are? Or do you see that person who is not affected by anything, whether he has achieved something or not, and whether he has done something or not? Uh, you are the same person, right? So today we are going to talk about self worth, and we will understand, you know, from Saeed, growth coach Saeed, who has been helping people with mindset transformation, helping people achieve growth mindset so that they can attain the growth that they desire in their life, in their professional life. And Saeed has been helping professionals since last 5 years. Uh,
Would join and would listen to it at a later stage. The thing is, um, let me quote Gautam Buddha here. Your self worth is as much as uh, anybody in the entire universe. Uh, it deserves your love and affection. So, your self worth is everything because if you are not going to value yourself, why would others? So, you are the first person who should value yourself. Okay. Now, what happens is that we are socially conditioned most of the time. From childhood, we have been told things. Okay, and if you grow up in a society which is like ours, anybody can tell you. As if you are any senior person can tell you how to do, what not to do, everything. Okay, so most of the time, what you get to hear is mostly it is discouraging, something negative, and I've read somewhere that a child of about 4 years old listens to a word no 84,000 times. So that's a lot of no, okay,
no,
for such a small child. So what your condition is basically to believe that you are not enough, believe that you can't do, believe that it is not up to you. So this is the way we are conditioned. That is where it is originating from. So the self-worth is your intrinsic belief, okay, your inner sense of value in your own worthiness, okay, about this thought, this thinking, this belief is independent of what others think. Because if you are already conditioned to believe in a certain way, now if I come and tell you 1,000 times, still you're not going to believe it because you are already conditioned. So this is your own belief about your own self that I am worth this much, I am worth that much, things like that. Like you know, in my career, I used to tell my colleagues, my especially my juniors, to you need to dress up yourself, you need to be ready yourself, you need to present yourself in a way that what you want to become, not what you are today. Today you may be a secretary, today you may be a stenographer, today you may be a typist, today you may be a computer operator, today you may be a forklift operator, today you may be a store in charge. But that's not end of your life. You eventually want to become something, you want to grow in life. So what is that you want to become? That what is that worthiness you see in yourself, what you think you are worth. So you be like that, you dress up like that, you act like that, you behave like that, you speak like that. So eventually you become like that. So your self-worth is your belief in your own self that I am worth this much. That, I mean, in simple terms, that's what it is. Because when you when you believe in yourself, what happens is it will fuel confidence in you. It will boost your energy. It will boost it will make you more bold, and it helps you make bold decisions. Right. So everything becomes a. I mean, when you don't have it, everything becomes a dependent thing. Like you depend on somebody's suggestion, somebody's opinion, somebody's thing. But when you believe in yourself, when you believe that I'm worth something, then you will be more independent and you'll be able to do things on your own. You'll have more possibilities for your own self. Yeah.
Yeah, in professional life, it's uh, there is a mechanism how one can gauge their self worth. For example, somebody who is just a fresher, they will not negotiate much, and whatever the organization is giving them, they will oblige with that. And so when you move to another organization, you have some experience. You're already paid something. Now you have you can negotiate over that. That I want a 50% increment or a 100% increment, right? Depending on your self worth. So you have already gauged your self worth now. But outside that, how does somebody gauge their self worth?
Yeah, even in professional world, not everybody can do that. Okay, and those who do that are they become successful. Like when I was uh, in a professional world, uh, I know for one example very clearly, which is known to me, which I have come across. There is the company called Halliburton. I mean, it's a very big company, worldwide renowned company, oil-based company. So there was that vice president of that company. Uh, I learned that that man started his career in that company as a diesel pillar. And when I happened to interact with him, he was the vice president of that company. So how does one person one become like that? Because he saw himself more worthier than what he was doing when he joined. Right.
Yeah, and I'm
So
sure there might be many other people who join at the same place, same
yes, the
position.
same place at the same time. Because I know another person who is very good friend of mine, and he is not even a graduate. He is just after 10th. He did his 12th. He did not even finish. He joined a company like that. Today he is a consultant for one of the renowned companies in the world, and he travels all over the world. Okay, so it is not what you are today. It is how you are seeing your tomorrow. Oh, this is what, and it applies the same either it's your personal life or professional life. Because personally, if you're seeing yourself as weak, personally you're seeing yourself as low, the last person to talk, the last person to decide, the last person to uh, make any decision, then you'll be lost. And it usually happens in personal life that especially if you're living in an environment where you have a lot of siblings, where you have a lot of cousins or a lot of relatives who are elder to you, who are senior to you, then the chances are you are pushed back. Chances are you are. But again, in the same environment, there will be a few who take responsibility and who take more responsibility than their seniors and who act in terms of need, in terms of demand. Then they become leaders, whether it's personal life or professional life.
True, true. So for leadership, you don't require a position,
And it
right?
doesn't need permission.
Uh, exactly, exactly. So somebody who is the youngest in family can take charge, can lead the whole family, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So he can be the most responsible one.
Yes,
So it depends how they see themselves as what self worth they carry for themselves.
absolutely.
Definitely. So uh, what does this self? So let's talk about this lack of self worth. So how does this show up or expresses in working professionals or in working life?
Yeah, it always uh, it is not always obvious. It is not always that it shows up, but you can recognize that by consciously observing it. uh, because often what happens is people It is disguised in the form of people saying that I'm content, I'm self-content. Actually, nobody is self-content, because if like you're earning 1 lakh rupees a month, and if there is a chance for you to earn 2 lakh rupees a month, who would say I'm self-content? I'm good with it. And let me be here. Nobody would say, unless he's seeing a big trouble in getting that 2 lakhs per month. So there's nothing like self-content. But what this self-content is a disguise that you are not seeing your worthiness. You are not gathering guts or strength enough to see yourself as a better than what you are today, because of again social conditioning or whatever that past you had that you're carrying in your back. Okay, and it is mainly because of lack of awareness. So uh, this results in what? This shows up as a person who's always doing people pleasing things, because you're not believing in yourself. So you're always worried that your decision may not be accepted, your proposal may not be accepted. So you want to play safe. So what you will do, you will do and say only those things which you think are will be accepted by others. So you'll do people pleasing things. Okay, and in your when you are in meetings or whenever you have an opportunity, you don't speak up, or you do it the minimum possible. You are in a presentation and you don't present. You have a question in your mind, you don't ask. You have a suggestion, you don't give it, because you are afraid that I'm not worth doing it. You feel that I'm not worth doing it. There are people around me who are better than me. So um, this is a this is a chronic what do you call it, underestimation of yourself. And this results in what? You deliver more, you give more service, but at the same time you charge less. So how many times you have come across people in our lives, in our professional life, that he's working like a donkey but he's paid very less? Because these kind of people, what happens is the management also takes advantage of that, because they knew that this man is not going to ask. So they take advantage of that. Not only the management, the colleagues also will take advantage of that. So he's paid probably pennies, but he's taken more work. Okay. So and whenever these people get a chance to be better, if they are given charge, then their unworthy lower self-worthiness in them makes them feel like an imposter. So they suffer that imposter syndrome, and they feel that I'm a fake. I'm a fake. I'm going to be caught very soon. So what they do, they continuously try to seek validation from others. Okay, am I doing right? Is it good? Kind of thing. So it ends up in what? It ends up in you may end up in a toxic job where you're not growing, you're not developing, you're not doing nothing. Or it may reflect in your personal life where you end up with toxic relationships. Okay, because you are not able to speak up and say no, say contradict anybody's opinion. So you may end up in toxic relationships. This all the most dangerous part of this is that uh, you feel you never feel you're ready to take anything big. Okay, you're not ready yet. So it's a rooted, this whole thing is rooted in your belief system, which is conditioned from probably from childhood time, younger times.
True that. So, so let's say there is a person, let's say there is a rickshawala, and who thinks in his mind that he is a king, right? And so the self worth is too high from the standard he is living with. And there is a person who may be a CEO of a big organization, and still he is very respectful to each person, to each employee, the junior most employees. He is very humble. Uh, so can we call these self worth that person has a low self worth, who is the CEO, and this rickshawala has a high self worth?
There's nothing wrong with it, Arif. Actually, there's nothing wrong with rickshawala having a high self-worth, and there's nothing wrong with the CEO being a very humble. I have had an opportunity to deal with both. But let me bring one example here, which is uh, our famous cricketer, let's say Arif Hussain. He comes from a very humble background, and even I think who's this another cricket player who comes from very poor background and who so they come from very poor background, but they did not see themselves their future like that. They wanted to become something in their life. They saw themselves as bigger and better than what they were at that moment. So they have become big. They have become successful. Okay. So Suryavanshi, something. Yeah. So the, all it is nothing wrong with Rickshawala thinking bigger, but there is a difference here of thinking yourself as more worthy and being arrogant, being obnoxious, being what you call uh, being negative. Okay, so if he is arrogant, if he is obnoxious, then it is going to hurt him. It's not going to do any good to him. He's not going to get anything in this in his life. He will still remain Rikshavala. But if he truly believes that he is worth more than that, then what happens is that will help him take actions that will lead him to become a better person, to become more like just like the example that I cited before. A man who joins a company as a diesel filler becomes the vice president of the company. How does it happen? When he
True.
thought that he will become big, it was not about arrogance, it was about his belief system. Okay. So similarly, if a CEO thinks he's humble, that's very nice of him. I have met many of those such people. They were very big people, very successful people, very rich, but at the same time very humble. They used to come till the door. Some people used to come to the car to leave me see me out. So there was no need for them to do that. Absolutely no need for them. But it was their gentleness that they used to come to the door or to the car to see me out. So there is nothing wrong with it. And these why what they are doing is because why they are doing is because that's what they value. They value relationship. They value the respect. So what they are doing and what their values are totally aligned. That is why they are successful. And they will go further more. They will become bigger than that in their lives.
True. That makes sense. So that means what values they carry inside, what self, if a person has high self worth for himself, they will value others' life as well, and they will be respectful towards them.
And
And
it will
when
reflect in their actions.
it will reflect in their actions, their behavior towards others as well.
Absolutely.
And people who may have a false self worth, high self worth, but inside actually they are suffering from low self worth, so they will come show up or express as being arrogant, right,
Yeah,
or bad behavior.
yeah. That actually where when it happens is that they I mean it happens often with an incompetent people who are not competent enough, but they see people around them who are more competent. Now the thing is what they are doing and what they are saying is not because they want to become bigger, better. They want to show others as less than them, or they want to uh, reduce them in front of. So this is a negative energy, and it's not going to do any good to anybody, neither to them nor to others.
So let's say there is a person who is living with this lack of self worth, and now we are talking about professionals.
Yeah,
So what would be the cost that he or she would pay living with this low self worth?
yeah. See, it doesn't look dangerous on the face of it, but it is what do you call it? It is quite disastrous, especially in a professional world. Even in a personal world, if a person is not believing in himself, not having a self worth, then he will not have respect in his own circle, maybe a family or friends or relatives. Uh, because as I said, if you are not respecting yourself, if you are not feeling yourself worth it, why would give any value to you? So uh, yeah, there is this quote from I think Roosevelt. I think Roosevelt. No one can make you feel inferior without your own permission. So without your own consent. So you are the one who need to have self respect for yourself. Self. You need to set a benchmark for your own self. Then you act accordingly. So when you don't do that, the cost of it is that definitely your career is going to get a hit, because you will not have that opportunity, because you are not seeing yourself as worth, and consequently you're not taking any opportunity that is coming your way. And when you don't take the opportunity coming your way one time, two times, the third time, nobody's going to give you even, nobody's going to offer you anything. Your management, your boss, even in colleagues don't believe in you. That means in a career you'll shrink and you'll get stuck in a place. Okay. And if you continue like this, then what's happening is every day you're doing the same thing. That means you're reaching a burnout, you're reaching a routine, you're totally stuck. So it drains your energy, it causes you fatigue, and you may get into depression. So that leads to again what? It leads to again bad relationship, both professionally as well as personally. And all of it definitely will impact your economics, your your finance, because you are stuck in a place, you're not growing. That means you're not doing any better, so you're not earning better. While the demands in your personal life will grow definitely. Okay, so it's not going to it's not going to be a rosy picture. And the worst part of all this thing is that you may never discover your true potential, because you have a true potential for yourself, but you're constantly denying it and refusing to see it, because you're seeing yourself as less, lower. So you have a potential, but you yourself is not able to see it. And definitely you need some outsider to look at it and tell you, show you mirror.
That reminds me of my childhood. So I remember, there was one Hakim, and this the he was sitting in my hometown for one day a week. That's it. And that day, the whole street would be filled with patients. Okay, that was kind of following he had. And the charges, those times you could buy a plot in 100 rupees, and he was charging 500 rupees per patient.
My
Right?
goodness.
Not even the best of the surgeons would have that kind of fees, right? But then there was another side of it. He would do everything free of cost also for people who deserve that or who need that. Okay, so 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 there was a way, intentional way of balancing it out some way. But talking about self worth, so he was able to charge this much in those days, right? I'm talking about like early 80s. Okay, and um, then I remember one more doctor, who would not who would charge the least. Still, he didn't have much patience. He would charge the least and not much patience still. So, let's say there are professionals here who are working hard, who have all the skills required, and still they are not able to negotiate the perks, the facilities, maybe the timings. Okay, they can't even open their mouth. Okay, when they need to negotiate for themselves, right? Uh, but they are good negotiator for the company. They can close client, they can close deals, right? But they cannot demand for themselves. On the other hand, there are some people who would not work that much, who would not bring that much results also to the company, but they are good negotiators for themselves. They get better salary, better perks, better facilities, even promotions. So I'm sure there is something at play here, which is uh, related to self worth. So how can somebody take some powerful actions in their lives so that they can increase their self worth, so that their value increases in professional world?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, and there are a lot of things that they can do, which I think I'll quickly go through a lot of things here. As I said in the beginning, first thing is that you visualize yourself where you want to be in your life, where you want to go, and act from that place. So if you want to become a CEO of a company, act like a CEO, dress like a CEO, talk like a CEO. That means act with responsibility, not that act with that. Don't bring that arrogance. Don't bring that uh, command. Bring bring that responsibility. Bring that commitment to your job. So bring that language to your job. So when you do that, automatically opportunities will open up for you, and your mind will constantly be in that environment. In that, so your current birth isn't limited to your what you're doing today or what your past was. It is it is it need to get expand, and it will extend as per your vision, right? So have a clear vision of what you want to become in life and act from that point, right from that place. Okay, start with a clear vision for yourself. Okay, then the second thing is that we spent a hell of a lot of time knowing, trying to know 1,000 things. Every day we search and Google about 1,000 things. But I'll ask one question to the audience here. Have you ever tried to know about yourself? I'm sure 99% the answer is no. Nobody ever makes a conscious effort to know about themselves. And this probably is one of the major mistakes we all do. I have done that, and uh, when I finally got to know about myself with conscious effort, I just thought that if I had known this about 20 years ago, my career would be much better than what it was. So know yourself. And now you may ask me how I'm going to know myself. There we are here for that. Okay. So in our victory point, I mean the victory framework, we have an assessment which will help you know yourself, which will give you a detailed report of what you are, what you can become, and how you need to do that. So if you want to know about yourself, get in touch with us so you can share that assessment for free for you. And see, we all must be having some past, okay, and that past may not be very encouraging or very motivating, or sometimes maybe it is even a doom because people must have told you many times that you can't do, you can't become worthy, you can't study this, that, and whatnot, everything. So try to try to identify where did I learn this that I'm not enough. Where did I learn this? Where is the origin? Where it is coming from? Try to go back to that place, because that what it will do is it will give you awareness. It will make you understand that it is not that you are not worthy. It is not that you have low worth. It is that you start to believe it because somebody said so, okay, or something happened to you in that moment. Okay, so get try to go to that origin and bring that awareness to your mind. And now that you're aware, you need to audit your internal dialogue, because this definitely is making you talk, giving you talk in your mind that you can't do this, you're not worth it, there are people better than you. These kind of things are going on in your mind. So you need to challenge these negative thoughts that are coming to your mind. You need to challenge this negative self-talk and beliefs that are continuously coming. So the thing is that what you can do is you can write down such thoughts. Maybe every day you write 3 thoughts. Okay. Whenever the thought comes, you write it down. Okay. Now, when you write it down, you ask, how can I reframe this? Okay. What would I mean, if I have a friend, close friend, will I say the same thing to him? If I have a brother, will I say the same thing to him? So when I'm not doing this to others, why am I doing this to myself? Why am I telling myself continuously that I'm not worthy, I can't do this, that, better than? Why am I even using this language on me? So if you get a thought in your mind that I am not enough, you reframe it that I am still learning, and that itself is powerful, because you're learning with that. That means you're growing. Okay, so try to reframe these things. Okay? So then these thoughts are not everything. This uh, what do you call it? You have done something. You have achieved something in your life. Okay, and you have this self-worth issue which is lower than what it should be. Now you need to detach these two things. Okay, so you are not what you do today. Okay, like we were saying in the beginning, you are something today, but this is not the end of it. You are going to become something in the future. So that future, it is not conditional to what you are today. It is not even conditional to what you were in the past. So detach the two things. If you were a typist or a showkeeper in your past, it doesn't mean you have to end your career in the same way. You can become something more. So when you set that clear vision, when you see the clear picture, what happens is that will make you take the steps to reach that place. Like maybe make you learn certain new skills, get new qualifications, get trained, change jobs, whatever it takes. It will make you do those things. Okay, so detach your past, your present, your lower self worth with the achievement. Okay, then it is your environment also matters. So if you're in an environment where you constantly seek validation from others, okay, you need to change this. You need to stop seeking validations, and you need to be on your own, be able to take your own decisions. That means be bold. Okay, for that you may need some support, you may need some people around you. Okay, so bring those people into the circle who will help you do those things, who will encourage you to do those things. Okay, now every individual will have some inner strength. It is not that you are weak in every section, you are lower in every section. You may be low in one area, you may be high in another area. So identify that and bring that inner strength to the fore, because that again will encourage you and motivate you to do other things. And as we said, as we talked about values in the beginning, focus on your values, because when you believe in certain values and when you align these values with what you do, what happens is whatever you're doing will become a natural thing, and that will give you, that will make whatever you do much easier than it is, and success will be much easier than you think. Okay, then in the process you may make some mistakes, you may have some failures, you may face some setbacks. Now when that happens, don't tell yourself that I know I'm not worth, I know I can't do this, why did I do? Don't stop that language. uh, have some self compassion, everybody makes mistakes. So tell yourself, deal with yourself with kindness and with more understanding, and tell yourself, okay, I made a mistake, but in the process I learned something. So next time I do it, I'm better placed now to do it better, to do it right. So this will encourage you to try it again and do it again. Now, uh, you are not what they say that you are an average of 5 people you spend time with, right? Similarly, if you presently if you are having that lower self worth, associate yourself with people who have high values, who empower you to speak up, who encourage you to take up new assignments. Be with those people, because what happens is when you are in that environment, that energy that energy will flow, and that energy will influence you. Okay, that energy will influence you, and that will make you do things that you thought impossible for you. So stay near to those who who encourage you to take up new things, who think high of you. Okay, now what do you call it? This circle need to be careful. I mean, you need to be careful of toxic people in that environment, because you don't want to get in an environment where people insult you or people laugh at you. You want to be in an environment where people encourage you in spite of your mistakes, in spite of your low self worth. They still ask you to do things uh, much more challenging than what you're doing today. So, and one of the main reasons why this must be happening is because you don't have clear boundaries to yourself. You're saying yes to everybody, you're saying yes to everything. So everybody's using you. So learn to say no, set clear boundaries for yourself. Because when you're saying no means what? You're saving time and energy for doing things which are good for you. Okay. You're not being yourself in others' priorities. Okay. And as you do, success won't come in a big way. It comes in small portions. So identify this. Every day you make an audit, you maintain a journal. Even if you made a small success, recognize that and acknowledge it, and even celebrate it, because that will encourage you, motivate you to do more. And uh, imperfection, mistakes, failures, these are part of the journey. And don't worry about it, and don't expect everything to be perfect. It's not going to happen. And last but not the least, we as human beings, we don't have to do all the things alone. Okay, because it's a human nature that we live in groups, that we live in teams, we work in teams. So if you feel stuck there, if you feel self worth, instead of spending, instead of struggling to come out of it on your own, take somebody's help. Take somebody's help who has done that for himself, or who has done that for them, who has helped others do it, and who is expert in that. So by doing that, what happens is, if you do it on your own, maybe it will take a couple of years for it to do. But if you seek help of a coach, and maybe he will help you get over it in a couple of months. That means what? You saved almost 2 years of your time. So that will change the trajectory of your career. So you don't have to do it alone, and this is a journey. I mean, it is not a 1 day or 1 month thing. It's a continuous process, and these tips, uh, they may sound I mean, for some people they may sound very new, or some very not doable, or not believable. But trust me, when you start doing it, you will see the result, and you will see the change in yourself, and you will be able to achieve what you want to achieve in your life.
Definitely, Said. And thank you for the powerful actions that you have shared. Somebody says, "Hi, sir, I'm from Canada. What are you doing now?" Okay. So we are just talking, having a conversation with growth coach Said. Uh, so, Said, uh, let's say somebody has worked on all these steps that you have shared, and they were successful in uh, removing this problem from themselves, and then they now have a high self worth. So, what changes in life? What changes?
Well, a lot will change, because first of all, you will stop underselling yourself. Because one of the biggest problems of low self-worth is that you deliver more but you charge less. That means you are underselling yourself. So you will stop underselling yourself. You will stop negotiating. You will not undervalue yourself. Okay. So that means you're seeing yourself as, you're giving yourself more respect, and that in turn will bring more respect to you, either professional world or the personal world. And uh, you will demand, or you will ask what you truly deserve, not less than that. Okay. So you will not wait for somebody's permission. You will not care about somebody's validation to do what you want to do in life. Okay. So what's happening here is that you are becoming, or you have become, totally independent and bold. So when you are independent, and when you are bold, uh, uh, when you're confident, this shows up in your work. This will reflect in your work, in your communication, and everywhere. So if you are in a professional world, the management will will definitely come to the notice. It will come to the notice, because it reflects in your work, in your speech, in your actions. That will help you. That will lead you to leadership positions. That will lead you to uh, better opportunities. And when your inner world is changing, that your outer world, external world also will change. So your actions, your future, or your all those things is now not dependent on what other people think, you know, other people's validations. You are totally independent now, so it's kind of freedom. It's kind of freedom.
Definitely. That's freedom. You're free from the expectations of others.
Yeah.
You're free from the burden that you might be carrying somewhere in your mind, sometimes consciously, sometimes unconsciously. So overall, that will help you grow in your life. So thank
Yeah.
you, Saeed, joined with us in today's call. See you next Friday with another mindset issue that troubles people. Um, Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye bye.